Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Invasive Species, the series where we run Hoenn mons in Kanto and Kanto mons in Hoenn. Before we get into the specifics of today's Kanto contender, here's a quick rundown of the rules, though you can always find them outlined in great detail in the description below. We run on max IVs, no items in battle, held items are okay. We choose the nature and ability if applicable. Every mon gets access to a single egg move, and we choose the hidden power type. So what exactly do Meowth and Poochyena have in common to warrant this parallel? Not much from any aspect of their mechanics. I just picked these two to compete because don't you know that cats and dogs don't get along? Speaking of mechanics, here's Meowth's stats. Ouch. Their speed is actually pretty good, about 1/3 of our total base stat total, but there's not much else to get excited for here. If it were Gen 1, this would actually be way better due to base speed determining a Pokemon's crit rate, but we're not in Generation 1. We don't hit very hard and we're very frail, but at least we won't have to worry about getting outsped by anything, so at least there's that for silver lining. Maybe our moveset's better? Not really. It's pretty standard stuff, and I figure that we can use Payday once we get it to gain bits of money through encounters, though the text boxes, they are gonna add up. At least we're, anti-hemorrhaging money. A bite will be useful for getting by Roxanne, since it's special in Generation 3, but beyond that, there's not a whole lot to look forward to. The TMs, however, are a whole different ballgame. For some absolutely bizarre reason, Meowth has solid coverage. Thunderbolt, Water Pulse, Shadow Ball, Iron Tail, if nothing else, there is variety here. And since Meowth's attack stats are equally crap, at least we can be flexible and make ours into a mixed attacker, or focus entirely on special attacks. And I say that because the latter, we're almost certainly going to be doing by the time we get to Steven, as his team has great physical bulk, which is a real shame because same type attack bonus with return is going to take Meowth far and wide in this run. As for our choice in egg moves, you know when Hypnosis is the best one on the list that you're in for an absolute treat of a run. Now, don't get me wrong, having access to a sleep move is nice, and we can kind of compare strategies to the one Poochyena used in Fire Red, but that 60 accuracy, oh yikes. This is another instance of where Gen 1 Meowth would be way better, because Gen 1 Amnesia would be a no-brainer, until you realize that egg moves do not exist in the caveman era of Pokemon. This is for sure one of the worst movesets we've had to work with up to this point as far as our egg moves are concerned. But let's try not to look at that. I don't want to call it a gift horse. Maybe false hope? Yeah, let's go with that. Let's be glad that we at least have false hope with Hypnosis on our moveset. I'm certain we'll, unfortunately, be keeping it the entire run, too. Since we get Bite at level 11, we're gonna have it for Roxanne because as we made our way to her gym, we battled every trainer on the way, including the ones in her gym before heading back to the Poke Center to get our Bite power points back because, oh boy, are we gonna need them. Having a Dark-type special move for this battle is really awesome. However, that's offset by the fact that Hypnosis missed not once, but twice. Funny enough, though, we're still faster and hit Hypnosis, so that's good. Now, the damage we're dealing isn't too shabby on Geodude. Its special defense isn't that great. However, it does wake up and take us out before we can take it out. Now that we know how much damage we deal and is dealt to us, I think we should incorporate Growl into our strategy. So of course we flinch and crit, not gonna complain about that though. With an attack drop on Nose Pass, it keeps going for Harden now that it's faster. So things are looking pretty good, right? She heals with a potion, we chip away at it, and all of our progress is undone by a critical tackle. With 2 Growls on Geodude, 2 Growls on Nose Pass, and an Oranberry, and passable Hypnosis luck, we are able to power our way through this fight, if you can believe it. Funny enough, the way we end off is despite all those Hardens, we use Scratch and take it down. Nose Pass must have had just 1 hit point remaining. I gotta say, I thought that would take a lot more tries. I'm not gonna complain about a 3rd time's the charm. Now, we have absolutely no interest in battling Brawly right now, so we're going to level up big time here. So much so that we're actually going to try the Cycling Ode rival first. And now, she does have Combustion with double kick, so we gotta be careful here. But I believe that's the only Pokemon who's gonna give us any trouble. Feeling a lot more confident about May than Brawly. How often do you see that? And yeah, as you saw on our in-game time, already about an hour's worth of in-game grinding. Oh boy. We go for Bite, deal big damage, and May responds with Splash. Oh boy, we're in trouble now. We use Payday to take out Wailmer, and we have to hit with Hypnosis here. We do, so we are on limited time. And from here, we're going to lay in with Payday, trying to deal as much damage as we can by picking the pockets Combustion does not have, and it stays asleep long enough, if you can believe it. Well, we're pretty much in the clear here. Shroomsh is going to be kind of annoying. We do get a flinch with Bite first turn, which is nice. Not the second one, and it does retaliate with Stun Spore, which could be unfortunate, but I don't think we're gonna lose here unless we get the worst luck ever, which we don't. Well, actually we do. We lose our turns to paralysis twice in a row and get hit with a critical Mega Drain, but in return, we crit, so the luck kind of evens out there, so I guess the original point stands. And now we're gonna backtrack to Dewford and fight Brawly just to knock it off of our bingo card. Now, considering that we're almost double the level of his team, we're not gonna have too much trouble here, but we are super frail, so let's hope for the best. Hypnosis does connect, that's good. We don't want this thing going for bulk up. Machop stays asleep, the follow-up Payday takes him down, no problem. Now, in Ruby Sapphire, he only has 2 members on his team, Makuhita coming out next. Hypnosis hits yet again, having pretty good luck with this move so far. And that damage is perfect, quite a bit for a 2-shot, and it keeps it out of healing range. Makuhita does not have a Citrus Berry in Ruby Sapphire. Next up is Wattson, and we really have no great answer for his team. Unfortunately, Meowth can't learn Flamethrower, otherwise we would, so we actually have enough money to buy Thunderbolt from the game corner. That is the best move to use in this fight. They resist all of our moves, it's just that in the case of Magnemite and Magneton, their special defense is a fair bit lower than their physical defense. Also, electric types can be paralyzed in Generation 3. The Thunderbolt has a 10% chance to cause paralysis, so that's something. So let's talk strategy as we go through failed attempts here. We absolutely need to get to the Magneton with our Sherry Berry intact. Now, we'll eventually get paralyzed because there's no way we're taking out Magneton quickly. However, if we do, that means Magneton has to waste a turn with Thunder Wave. Fortunately, we can hit Voltorb with our normal attack, it's only electric type. And in most instances, Magnemite is a 3-shot with Thunderbolt, very fortunate we got the range here. We're gonna put Voltorb to sleep, thankfully Spark did not paralyze us. And we 2-shot it anyway, Hypnosis was a mistake on Voltorb. Against Magneton we miss Hypnosis turn 1, but not turn 2. And now we just start laying in with Thunderbolt. Then we have a crazy convergence of RNG. Para hacks, Hypnosis missing, Supersonic missing. And we really need to get Magneton back to sleep if we're going to win this fight. We do. We switch to Payday just to keep it out of healing range, I hope. After losing a turn, we follow up with a critical hit, so I guess that Payday was a moot point, but better safe than sorry. Again, Wattson went way smoother than you would expect. And here's where I think Sailing's going to be a bit smooth for Meowth for a time. I mean, Maxie is going to be pretty hard. He has a fully evolved team, and we're a Meowth, so it's going to be pretty hard. But I have to say, we match up pretty decently against him. Also, we have Secret Power. Absolutely, we're grabbing that, especially as a normal type with the same type attack bonus. That said, he does lead off with Mightyena, and Mightyena has Intimidate, so our attack's down the entire fight. We exchange Thunderbolt and Sand Attack. Thankfully, the follow-up does not miss, so we've taken no damage. We have the opportunity to learn Screech, which was great for Onyx, but isn't that useful for us? Golbat's next. Interesting choice because we have Thunderbolt, bye-bye. And now, because we've been hit by Sand Attack, I opt for Feint Attack here to bypass the accuracy. The damage isn't great, and judging by the damage we're taking, we gotta put this guy down quick. Hopefully we can get a lucky critical hit or something. As we bring it down low, unfortunately Maxie does heal with a Super Potion. Our Feint Attack brings him to about 3/4. And then we get a critical hit Feint Attack, but he gets Magnitude 8, so Focus Energy buffed us, but we lost anyway. We got a couple of failed attempts here where Hypnosis misses right away, and we get hit by Sand Attack, so no thank you. On this attempt, I decided to power through it anyway. Mightyena is asleep, and we're going to take it out lickety-split. And to make a long story short, I should have reset because Hypnosis with Sand Attack is absolutely awful. Still, I think the strat is to put Mightyena to sleep, therefore we prevent Sand Attack, knowing we can 2-shot this thing. Well, we do connect, Mightyena stays asleep, and it stays asleep for both Thunderbolts. That is excellent. We're gonna pass up Screech yet again, and whoa! Turns out Golbat's a damage range. Right, 40 base special attack. That's actually kinda great though, because he has one less Super Potion for Camerupt, and although we get brought down to about 31 health, thanks to a good old-fashioned healing loop he gets stuck in, we emerge victorious. Now, against Flannery, the strat is to get her to use her Hyper Potion on one of the Slugma, case in point there. Now, bear in mind that she has 2 of them, so putting Slugma to sleep and not one-shotting with Thunderbolt actually works out for us. Despite it waking up early and going for Sunny Day, we didn't take any damage yet. We put it back to sleep because I forgot she had another Hyper Potion. This is absolutely perfect because now Torkoal cannot get healed. Just gotta overpower it. No pressure. Well, thankfully Body Slam didn't paralyze us before we put it to sleep. We're going with special attacks. I think we're dealing a little bit more damage here. Down she goes, and it's Norman time. Now, this should be very dangerous because Slacking could very easily take us out by itself with Facade, but thankfully Norman really likes Yawn because Gen 3 loves status, am I right? Well, as Norman goes to heal after failing to put us to sleep thanks to a Chesto-Bear, we can put him to sleep, just to enable that Gen 3 status-loving addiction. We're chipping away at good old slacking here. He does wake up, but it's far too late. And now the second slacking is gonna really want to go for Focus Punch, so we're in good hands for the time being. Focus Punch is a 2-turn move, which will cause him to flinch and lose the attack if he takes damage, which we're taking full advantage of here. Combine that with our ability to put this big guy to sleep, and we've got a pretty effective way to shut this dude down. From here, it's really just a matter of being able to overpower Vigoroth, and I think we'll be alright. We trade Secret Power, Slash, Facade, all that good stuff, but we end up winning. Thankfully, Slash did not crit us, otherwise we would have lost. And what's this? We're covering the Weather Institute rival battle because May needs to learn what Pokemon Redefined means. Actually, because Onyx got obliterated in this fight like 5 times, I think. I feel like I have to cover this fight. It's like obligatory at this point. But you know the real reason why I enjoy this fight in this particular run so much? I mean, yes, dominating this team is not only easy and gives us great experience points, but it really lets Meowth play out his little power fantasy here. That's right. This is his opportunity to take out all that pent-up frustration he might have towards Jesse and James. Well, it's either that or we didn't have to rely on hypnosis at all for this fight. That feels really, really good. Now, just to give you guys a heads up, the battle against Norman and the battle against Flannery both took 2 tries, and I didn't show the failed attempts because they were basically the Maxie fight, just failing at hypnosis at the wrong time and getting clobbered for it. Also, when we go talk to Steven, and we're able to run from the Kecleon for some reason, I like how Steven comments on how our style is intriguing. I guess that's a very, very polite way of saying that he is, I guess, maybe approving of our cowardice. Well, we've lived to fight another day, so that we can go ahead and battle Winona here. Well, that Kecleon can laugh at our protagonist all he wants, but we got to Winona pretty darn fast, all things considered, and I think we're gonna beat her pretty darn fast, all things considered. And to punctuate that point and start off strong, one-shot Thunderbolt on the Swellow. Next up is Pelipper. Yeah, it's double weak to electricity. It just wastes our time with one Protect before being a very, very easy one-shot. Love to see it. Well, one Pokemon I don't think we're going to one-shot is Skarmory. Thunderbolt does deal great damage. Unfortunately, we don't. And to double up on that unfortunateness, we get hit by Sand Attack. Winona does opt to heal Skarmory, but the first Thunderbolt does not miss, and neither does the second. Excellent. Full health for Altaria if we're going to need it. Now, you'll notice that we have Hidden Power on our move slot here, and yes, it is Hidden Power Ice, judging by that super effective damage. Winona does heal with a Hyper Potion, and unfortunately for us, we go for Secret Power and we miss due to the accuracy drop from Sand Attack. We go for Hidden Power and we hit. She goes for a second Dragon Dance, so now she's faster. We miss yet again with Hidden Power. Fortunately, our Citrus Berry brings us up to 77, and turns out that we needed that because without that, we would have been taken out by Aerial Ace, and we do connect. I cannot believe we won that on the first try. That was awesome. So as we battle the optional rival here at Lily Cove, we're going to discuss a bit of strategy for Tate and Liza. Now, because we can learn Shadow Ball, and it is physical, and Meowth has slightly better attack, we should be good to go on that front. And worst case scenario, we have Hypnosis. We can always do that slightly bent coin flip luck. Also, as we're lawn mowing through May's team, although she puts up a bit of a better fight than usual, I gotta say, her dialogue after this always makes me laugh. She's like, every time you beat her after the first time, she keeps talking as if she's some sort of great trainer, like you haven't completely mopped the floor with her every time up to this point. Brandon, he kind of humbles himself a bit, but she literally thinks that you're better because of the very first fight you had. Like, what is wrong with that kid? And speaking of kids I hate, here's Tate and Liza, who always find fresh new ways to annoy me every time I see this pair. You know, never mind the fact that I have a healthy fear of elementary school children with easy access to psychic powers, including mind control, snapping your spine like your Chapel from Trigun, and a bunch of other horrific things you can only begin to imagine. You have to fight these guys 2-on-2. In a normal playthrough, that's not so bad. But here, we can't fight them without a tag team partner. Marill is a great choice. It has Defense Curl, and it knows all the water HMs, or rather, you can teach it all the water HMs. So yeah, not a problem. Pretty great tag team partner. So yeah, that first attempt wasn't bad. We'll be alright. Solrock knocks out Marill, and Lunatone goes for Calm Mind. Perfect. Shadow Ball will take out Lunatone, and Solrock goes for Sunny Day. Absolutely perfect. And we put it to sleep just to flex on it before we take it out. I gotta say, after Wattson, Meowth has been doing a pretty darn good job, considering the fact that most of its strategies have been hypnosis-based. But even despite that, we've had some pretty triumphant battles, such as Winona, my favorite battle, at least pre-Elite Four this run. We know how dangerous Maxie is here, and he has Crobat to go with it, so I'm not looking forward to this. Well, never mind, I missed it with Scary Face, so we should be in the clear. Thunderbolt nearly one-shots Crobat, we get hit by a Wing Attack, thankfully no Confuse Ray. Now, I could have taught Return, but I really wanted to try to get some critical hits with Slash, and look at all those critical hits we have not gotten with that move so far. I gotta say, our feline protagonist is on quite the streak here. Will Wallace over in Sootopolis be the one to break it, combo breaker style? Let's find out. Well, after we sift through all this dialogue and flying on over to Sootopolis, and Wallace giving us his grand fabulous entrance because he is awesome. All of that to check our time, clocking in at 6 hours, 26 minutes. Hey, 626, that's my checkout date. Oh, you know, that's a good sign right there, baby. And oh my god, I can't believe it. We went for Slash and we actually got a critical hit. My life is complete now. We're gonna go for Slash as Whiscash comes out. We deal a little under half, and Earthquake deals a fair bit to us. The 49 damage if my basic math is correct. And here I'm thinking, alright, let's go for Shadow Ball. That should keep Whiscash out of healing range. Nope, sure didn't. We must have gotten a really high roll there. Naturally, Wallace goes for a Hyper Potion, and we miss Hypnosis. Not once. Drum roll. But we go for it again, and we miss it again. Woo! Whiscash responds with same type Earthquake. I gotta do a Whiscash run sometime. Anyway, we're gonna reset here. Wallace did break our streak. This time, Thunderbolt the Love Disc. Good, guaranteed one hit. This time, Whiscash goes for Amnesia, giving us a free hit. Actually, make that a couple. And we take it out. Very nice. Well, here comes Celio. One Thunderbolt does the trick. Unfortunately, Sea King does survive, and it sets up Rain Dance. It does have Swift Swim, so its speed is boosted by quite a bit. But as Wallace tries drowning a fish with potions, it turns out that we're actually still faster. Oh, and Thunderbolt thinks it's Slash because we crit and one-shot my Lodic. Now, I was making fun of May earlier, right? And we like to make fun of Wally on this show, but at least when we're doing that with Wally, Wally's kind of fun to poke fun at because Wally actually has a pretty good team. He's just not that great at using it. But you know what? He's a young trainer. It's his first full-fledged team. And he doesn't have the benefit of having a professor for a parent to hand out Pokemon. Although we squash Wally, as we do, at least he's kind of worthy of being our rival here in Ruby Sapphire. Brendan and May just are not cut out for that sort of thing. Now, after doing our usual errands, running around, going picking up some TMs, namely Iron Tail from Meteor Falls, as well as some rare candies and PowerPoint ups I might have missed the first time around, as I usually do, as I try to get here as quickly as I can. After using some rare candies, we're at 7 hours, 21 minutes. Let's see if we can get Meowth a, bronze medal? One of those items we picked up is the White Herb. That counteracts Mighty and his Intimidate. So we taught Return, and looks like it should be a one-shot, but I guarantee you that was like a 1 in 16 chance low damage roll. And of course we got hit by Sand Attack. And interesting to see that Thunderbolt does about the same damage. Cacturne's a one-shot with Return. The Sharpedo hits us with Swagger, and Slash we hit ourselves, but we don't hit ourselves this time. Bye-bye, Sharpedo. Absol's a one-shot. We miss Shiftry, but Extra Sensory leaves us with 1 hit point. We snap out of Confusion, and easily one-shot Shiftry. Yo, that was a clutch first battle against Sydney. That was amazing. Well, that is a short-lived Pyrrhic victory, as we know that Phoebe's coming up next, and she loves spamming Curse right out of the gate. Now, Meowth's obscure, strange coverage has me pretty happy pretty much the entire run, but especially here against Phoebe, because having Shadow Ball to deal with her team is pretty swell. Though we're going to be using Thunderbolt on Sableye, and what's this? Dare we try the no-save gauntlet with Meowth? I think so. Let's go. We go for Shadow Ball, and Confuser, we got a Persimmary, no problem, so Dusclops 1 goes down, easy peasy. Bayonet number 1 is a one-shot. Out comes Sableye, who does fall to a critical Thunderbolt. That was lucky. Bayonet number 2, unsurprisingly, is a one-shot with Shadow Ball. Dusclops does survive and hit us with Confuser. We hit ourselves, we get slapped by Earthquake. We power through Confusion and finish the job. Well, that was awesome. We got a 2-for-0 streak on this attempting at no-saving. Get a Meowth, you make Pinsir proud, little buddy. You gotta prove Steven wrong that you're not a coward, that you won't save in front of Glacia. What's that? Oh, we're dropping a save, 7 hours, 27 minutes. Hey, you know what? That was still pretty good. I'll take it. This is a bit of an interesting matchup here. We have Thunderbolt for her water types, but the Glalie are gonna be kind of annoying, I think. Especially because we miss Hypnosis right out of the gate. Well, the second one does hit, so that's good. We go for return and deal quite a bit of damage. Thankfully, Brawly stays asleep. Glacia full restores, it wakes up because of it. Doesn't matter. Return Shadow Ball combo takes it down. The hail stops. We go for Thunderbolt. Down goes Cilio. Out comes the second Cilio. Unsurprisingly, Thunderbolt seals the deal. Brawly 2, we hit with Hypnosis first try. Return, she's gonna heal again, whatever. Return Shadow Ball, second verse, same as the first. We go for Thunderbolt against Wall Rain, deal great damage. Blizzard does not crit or freeze us, and the Citrus Berry is not going to save it from a 2-shot. Huh, I wasn't expecting to defeat her on our first try, man. Meowth is doing awesome against this Elite Four so far. Now, we have Hidden Power Ice, but I don't want to teach it just yet. I want to try going in as we are. Return deals about 2/3 the Shell Gun, and we get crit by Rock Tomb. The follow-up does take it down, but I don't like that speed drop. Case in point, because of Dragon Dance, Altaria's going first, and we do take it out, but we're in pretty bad shape. Flygon 1 wastes time with Sandstorm and goes down no problem. Flygon 2 takes big damage off of return. It goes for Dragon Breath, thankfully no paralysis. Hey, you know what? If Hypnosis hits Salamence and it stays asleep, we're gonna win. That's pretty great, actually. So let's go for Hypnosis, and of course we miss. Well, I can't complain too much. We actually did pretty good on this first try. I don't feel good about Hidden Power Ice anyway, because judging by how we did it against Winona's Altaria, I'm not confident. The second try here, and you can see what a difference that speed drop makes. Even with Dragon Dance, we still go first before Altaria. But the first Flygon goes the exact same way as before. As we battle the second Flygon, this time it ends up going for a Flamethrower. Thankfully, we do not get burned. Alright, so as the second Flygon goes down, we're in decent shape for Salamence, and Sandstorm will help us too, and so will Hypnosis hitting. Because of the attack drop, we're going for Thunderbolt, and then Shadow Ball to keep it out of healing range. Another Shadow Ball, more Sleepies, Thunderbolt takes out Salamence. I knew we didn't need Hidden Power Ice. Meowth's got this in the bag, man. He's a little badass. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with Meowth so far. I did not expect the 4 members of the Elite Four, yeah, I just said that, to go that smoothly. I mean, Drake probably would have been a first try if I had committed to Hidden Power Ice, but I wanted to see how well we could do. Test Meowth's condition and go the extra distance, because we're gonna need it, because Steven is pretty awful for normal types. Now, those of you who've been with the channel for a while might remember the Rattata run and how great it did in the Elite Four, except for Steven, and if you haven't, you should go check out that video. It's actually my favorite run in the series up to this point, and that includes the Versus episodes too. Rattata straight up lawn mode Sydney, Phoebe, Glacia, and Drake, but Steven, oh, he was a whole different ball game. Complete 180. Will that be the case here with our much better type coverage and not having to rely on that strategy? Let's find out, shall we? Now, normally, the Skarmory Steven leads off with is pretty annoying. However, this time around, because we have Thunderbolt and aren't too shabby with it, well, look at that. Skarmory goes down in one hit. I love when this thing is trivial. Oh, wait, never mind. It's been left with a sliver. That's actually better. That means Steven will waste a full restore here. I'm like Joval from World of Warcraft. I planned for that all along. Next is Armaldo. We take a pretty hard Ancient Power, but Water Pulse 2-shots it. That's pretty awesome. Claydol comes out next. Return deals big damage. He goes for Reflect. We'll switch to Water Pulse. Water Pulse takes it down. We'll stick with that for Aggron. It does survive. It goes for Earthquake. Brings us to 47. And it looks like here is where Steven is going to waste the rest of his full restores on his objectively most worthless Pokemon. Very good. Well, out comes Cradilly. We missed Hypnosis, and that's a reset because of Giga Drain. That's actually not that bad. We did pretty good for a first try. We have to teach Iron's Hail. We gotta get rid of Return, unfortunately. I say unfortunately because although it provides great coverage for Cradilly, it misses 1 in 4 times. So take a D4, pick your least favorite number, and that's probably where we're gonna land on. And as we get ready to battle Steven again, it's looking pretty good because Skarmory is a one-shot. That looks like a favorable damage range. Thanks to Hypnosis, we take no damage from Armaldo. Iron Tail hits Claydol, we get hit by Earthquake. Hypnosis misses, there's Reflect, Hypnosis misses again, then it hits. If it dealt just a bit more damage, we wouldn't have to use Hypnosis because it misses again, and Claydol is really starting to mess us up. Yeah, that might have been a healing loop, but we're not dealing enough damage, so that's going to be a reset. Now, worst case scenario, I do have a couple more rare candies in the bag, and if we do use them, that will bump up Meowth, at least for the level tier, up by 1. However, because our attack, both physical and special, are pretty bad, I don't think the level ups will make that much of a difference. Maybe if we got to like 130 special attack, But I don't think that would make any sort of difference in regards to our damage ranges on Claydol. We would have to consistently two-shot it, and that's just not gonna happen, so we do need Hypnosis. I mean, Confusion and it hitting itself would be optimal, but Water Pulse has, what, a 20% chance to confuse? Yeah, I think we're gonna stick with Hypnosis. Another thing I can't believe I just said. But being completely fair here, Hypnosis for the most part has been pretty clutch except in this fight, really. Because there's a lot of attempts I can't show because this took a really long time. We missed in just about every way you can imagine. I'd hate to tell not show, and contrary to that, we do put Aggron to sleep right away here. And as we do, I want you to take a guess as to how many tries it took to get through this fight. Consider the odds here. Hypnosis, 60% accuracy. Meowth, very squishy, all awesome, but very frail. We don't deal great damage, all things considered. So how long do you think it took? 10 minutes in real time? 20 minutes in real time? No. Have you come up with a number yet? Now, this is probably where you're like, oh, Roz, I bet it took you like 3 hours of real-life time with speed up to get through this. No, not that long. Otherwise, I'd have had a psychotic episode and probably just stopped for like the next 3 months. Oh, look at that. Here comes Cradilly, and wow, Cradilly goes down. Hey, there's Metagross, and we put it to sleep. All right. It took me 57 minutes in real time with speed up to get this fight right here, which you're watching. As long as Hypnosis hits, both Skarmory and Armaldo are free. Now against Claydol, gotta put it to sleep and hit it with Water Pulse. It does wake up early here, but it hits itself. We nearly take it out. It does snap out. That is unfortunate. We gotta get this thing to sleep. I wanted to on that first turn, but we got it here, so I'll take it. And I gotta say, I really would not mind a defense drop from Iron Tail. Regardless, we survived the healing loop and took out Claydol. Next up is what I call the freebie of Steven's team, Aggron. It falls asleep just like Armaldo, always free. Now, as Cradilly comes out, we have to put it to sleep. Turn 1, we do very good. Iron Tail 1 hits, the second one does not, and unfortunately Water Pulse does not finish it off. Steven heals, we go for Water Pulse, then Hypnosis, which hits again. Having great luck with this move in this run. And that is second verse, same as the first. I cannot begin to tell you just how on the edge of my seat I was for this particular fight. Just please go away, Cradilly. We put Metagross to sleep and start laying him with Thunderbolt. Thanks to that crit, we switch to Water Pulse, it stays asleep, we go for Thunderbolt, and oh my god, this nightmare of a fight is finally over. Oh man, that was one of the hardest runs I've had in Invasive Species up to this point. And I really like this run because it just goes to show you, although we optimize each Pokemon here, at least to the best of my ability, it doesn't mean that these runs are easy by any means. This run is also a great example as to why I have the no save as an optional stipulation, which increases the Pokemon's rank, because like, level 79 with 7 hours and 43 minutes, I mean, that's not bad. That is C tier. But I think that Pokemon who can clear the no-save gauntlet deserve to have a bit more credit towards them. And by that, I mean it's difficult, so they deserve a bit extra for all that effort. Pokemon Stadium 2 style, man. Well, I hope you guys really enjoyed that run. Next up, we're going back to Kanto, as usual, as we go through Pokemon Fire Red with a single Dustox. Just a reminder, if a Pokemon doesn't have an egg move, we give it a move tutor move. I'll show you more when we get there. I'll see you guys there.